Andy, 2 seconds. I have a super chat here from Peter. Okay, so Peter asks, do you expect to see Blizzard devs, management, learning from their mistakes in Shadowlands, or more ignorance and cranium in rectum in the new expansion? I love how you make that sound very, very scientific and philosophical at the same time. Yes, I do actually expect Blizzard to learn from their mistakes. I will be surprised. Now, to make a couple of things clear, things that I've fears that I've been expressing for the last week, as it were. Blizzard is building a lot of hype for this. If you go on Twitter, almost every single Blizzard developer is speaking out about how hyped they are on this expansion, how much they can't wait for this expansion to happen. Here's what bothers me, here's what scares the living shit out of me. What happens if Blizzard announces the expansion tomorrow with all the hype and expectation that they've built for it, and it does not reach the audience? So people look at the announcement and it's either not enough, so Blizzard basically comes out with a cinematic and nothing else, which I don't think will happen. I do think Blizzard making a big spectacle of this, what I expect is a cinematic, obviously. I then expect maybe something like a features cinematic. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? With Shadowlands, we had the Shadowlands cinematic, and then we had that feature cinematic that showcased the Covenants and all the rest of it, the Maw and Torghast and all that shit. So I expect we're going to see something like this. We may even, this is my wish list, we may even see Blizzard stepping up. So Ian actually coming out and talking to the player base. They did say that this was going to happen live. So hopefully Ian comes out and actually tells the players what they're doing and how they're doing it. So it might actually be really cool. And we're going to be watching it obviously live, and I'll upload it afterwards onto YouTube so you guys can see my reactions to it and all that fun stuff. Here's the thing. If Blizzard doesn't announce housing, I can already tell you that it's going to cause massive outrage. The forums, Reddit, Discords all over the globe is hyped as fuck for the possible announcement of housing. This is sadly what's happening now with Blizzard hyping it up so much, is that it may actually lead to a massive breakdown if Blizzard does not announce housing. And how do they announce housing? This is going to cause massive issues if they don't. If Blizzard announces anything, so here's my sort of thing with the next expansion's announcement that I need to see from Blizzard Entertainment. And if I don't, that is probably going to lead me to a very angry place. If Blizzard ends up not using anything from the last 6 years, you know, all of that features that we have beta tested into perfection, going back all the way to Legion, you know, the legendary acquisition system. If you guys remember at the beginning of Legion, it was all up to RNG and it was horrible. Then we beta tested it. We kept telling Blizzard, hey, you should actually give us the ability to buy some legendaries because this is bullshit. And finally, Blizzard implements the ability to buy the legendaries, and then the legendary system actually becomes fun. Because yes, you have a chance of RNGing it, but if you're not getting the RNG, you also have the opportunity to buy it straight up, which is, in my opinion, the perfect protection against bad RNG. It's sort of, in my opinion, this is where the Vault fails, because the Vault is bad luck protection against RNG using more RNG, which, how are you using fire to put out a fire? Right? If you want to put out a fire, you have to do something other than oil and matches, because oil and matches is not going to put out the fire. You're just going to create an even bigger fire. So the Vault should have been the ability to straight up just purchase the pieces of gear that you're missing, that isn't dropping for you for whatever purpose or reason. Okay, but anyways, for the legendary system, then the Mage Tower. I want to see Blizzard do more with the Mage Tower, not just bring it back and sort of keep it sort of in this pristine state where you can do it at max level. I want to see more things from the Mage Tower, more levels, maybe more cosmetics being added to the Mage Tower. Turn it into this unique boss combat thing, you know? They already have it with Torghast, with the boss rush that you can do now in Torghast, right? So work on that. If you have to merge Torghast and the Mage Tower into a Torghast that is floor, and bosses on every other floor or something like that, and then also this boss rush mode that you keep providing the players with content that they've already tested and perfected. Garrison's another good example of something that we have beta tested that should turn into housing in a proper manner. So that is sort of give and take some of the things that I want to see. The thing that I don't want to see, and absolutely would lose my fucking mind over, is all of the systems that we have tested for the last 6 years not making it into this next expansion. Because that means that the last 6 years have been a giant waste of our fucking time. Why did I spend thousands of dollars playing this game for 6 years, testing shit, only for it to now be removed and basically trying something new? Now, there's a leak. Not long ago, there was a leak that showed that we're going to be able to choose our own dragonflight. Did you guys see that leak? I know we didn't cover the leak, but I did see the leak. I just thought, fuck it, I've covered enough leaks. I don't want to cover any more. But there was a leak that sort of Towley leaked it that showed that you're going to be able to choose a dragonflight, and that's going to be your dragonflight. No problem with that, because Covenant now is actually in a good place. You can swap Covenant as much as you want. You can choose your Covenant effectively based on the feel that you have. The one thing that I think Covenants still have wrong is the player power tie-in. They should absolutely not have that for Dragonflights. Do not put power behind a pure cosmetic choice. Put story behind it, no problem. Put cosmetics behind it, no problem. The second you start putting... it was literally one picture, Jared. It was literally one screenshot of the Dragonflights. Like, every single one of the Dragonflight's banner with it written on. And Towley said, could this be something? Now, could be fake, could be not fake. Who knows? There's literally no one that could know. Most of the Dragonflight's leaks that we've seen actually said that this is going to happen. This is the new Covenant system. It is the Dragonflight stuff. So it doesn't really, matter too much to me. I just think the problem with putting power behind the Covenants is that it limits choice. So if you're going to put power behind the Dragonflights, again, you're limiting choice. You're making it so that I may want to choose the black Dragonflight, but because my best Dragonflight is blue, I now have to go blue Dragonflight. Now, you might not think much of this, but if I'm a Warlock and I am forced to go blue Dragonflight, kind of pissed off. Because the blue Dragonflights are far more sort of synonymous with mages than what they are with warlocks. So it is going to be kind of a pissy idea. Even in the blue Dragonflight, they do have a history of sort of, I guess, communing with the evil one. So you could technically get away with it. But in my class fantasy, I would prefer to choose something like the black Dragonflight or something more evil, something, or at least historically a little bit more evil. But yeah, so that is sort of what I want Blizzard to learn from their mistakes, and learn the correct lessons. Because here's the thing, it's not that Blizzard have never learned from their mistakes. The problem is that Blizzard constantly takes the wrong things from their mistakes. So if Blizzard, for example, comes out and announces no new systems, that's them learning the wrong lessons from their mistakes. Because the problem is never the systems. The problem is the power behind the systems. If you remove the power behind the systems, you have no problem. No one would mind. So let me ask you this. How many people in chat hated Covenants in the beginning? Up until the last patch that basically fixed Covenant. How many of you really didn't like the Covenant system? I'm going to assume quite many. The Covenants was not a very fun experience for a lot of people. Now, how many of you don't mind the Covenants now? In fact, a lot of people I've heard actually think the Covenants are actually pretty cool now because you have complete freedom in what you want to do. So that's sort of the thing, Most people, the only problem they really have with Covenants was the lock-in. So you remove the lock-in, bam, everyone's happy. No one minds. And that's what I want to see from Blizzard. That is, in a short, if we want to talk story, that's a whole different discussion. One that would take longer than this entire stream to talk about, because from a story perspective, what I want to see from Blizzard in the next expansion goes basically one of two ways. If someone wants to ask me about it later, I'll give you that answer, but it is a long one. Because there are two options for the next expansion. But Peter, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it.